Good
This
morning
postman.
and welcome to A Better World with Julann and Fran. I'm Julann.
And I'm Fran, and our guest today is Mike Veasey. Welcome, Mike.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
And can you talk a little bit about some of the things you've been doing to make the world a better place?
I will say one thing. My children are grown now, but whenever I got that question when I was younger, I would say I'm raising my children to be the best people they can be, and that was my way of making the world a better place at that time. But since they have grown, I've gotten in and out of volunteer work over the years. My favorite thing I did was a improv group called Cherub Improv. I joined them in about, I don't know, 2007 or so. And I was with them actively through the pandemic. And we were an improv roster. We weren't just like seven people, we were like 40 people.
Wow.
And we would have different events during the month, and you would sign up for the events you can attend. So as a result,
Nice.
most people got into a routine. My routine included the American Cancer Society, where we did a show once a month at a place called the Hope Lodge. And the Hope Lodge is a great place where anybody in the world can come and stay there for free while they're getting cancer treatment in New York. So
Great.
if you're in Colombia and you need to get cancer treatment and you have to come to New York for it, you can come with one person as your companion and you just stay there. It's a beautiful place with kitchens and TVs, all that stuff. And we would go there once a month and do a show for those people. And everyone would tell me, "Oh, it's so nice, it's so nice." I was like, "No, I get to do improv in front of a real audience," because they were a real audience. I mean, they were, and they loved it. They always really responded well to it. And the most important part about that show was we wouldn't just pack up and leave. We would then mingle with those people afterwards. And I got to meet people from all over the world. I met a family from Egypt. They're like, "You got to come to Egypt." I met a young lady from Colombia who was a model before the cancer had stricken her. And last I heard is over about 15 years ago, but she was doing well. She had recovered, moved back to Colombia, and was doing well.
That's nice.
But every show was something like that. So to call it volunteer work is, I mean, I considered it selfish. I was like, look at me, I get to do improv. People tell me how great I am. So, but it did seem to help a lot of people. The other thing I really enjoyed was volunteering for a camp called Birch Family Camp. And this was an organization that gave summer camp for 2 weeks at the end of the summer to families dealing with HIV and AIDS,
Hmm.
and often poverty as well. And my role there was just to go up and be a camp counselor. I did it for 5 or 7 years. Sadly, both of these organizations were killed by the pandemic.
Hmm.
Um,
That's too bad.
yeah, really. And I was just having a discussion with a friend of mine because I'm taking an improv class at Second City, New York now, just level one, back to basics. And it's got me thinking maybe I can try to relaunch the Cherub Improv group. It's called Cherub Improv, and I might try to take these very enthusiastic people that want to do improv and try to relaunch the organization. So
That's
Oh,
Laughter's the best medicine. So how nice is that you can
yeah,
help them get through whatever it is they're doing with a smile and a laugh.
yeah, that's exactly what we did. And finally, what I'm doing now is I'm a comedian, I'm an actor, and I'm a playwright. And I've had a good month. I just did a festival in Virginia called the Last Word Comedy Festival, where I did stand-up comedy, and it was a blast. It just, it was a 7 hour drive there and a 7 hour drive back, and I got to do 10 minutes of comedy without getting paid. But for some reason, it was a blast. Just felt so
Yeah,
good.
that's
Um,
nice. Mm.
and I have a play, a one-act play, playing at a festival in Manhattan now. It's called Jack in Time, a little time travel piece, and that's been a lot of fun as well. The Chain Theater is a great organization in Manhattan. This is the third time I've presented a play there. Two of them I've written, one of them I just directed, but it's a great place. They're very professional. It's a beautiful facility in Midtown, 36th and 8th. You can't get more convenient. And it's been a good time. We opened last week and we have two more shows next week.
That's
oh,
awesome.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah, look at
Thank
you.
you.
Famous too.
Not famous, but yeah, but I do think I was doing a community theater play in Staten Island, New York about 10 years ago, and I said to a young actor, he's about 17, I was like, we're not getting paid for this and we're not getting famous for this, but once it's just us in front of an audience, the experience is as real as any Broadway show. It's like
Absolutely.
if what we're doing is entertaining real people right there, it's the same thing as if you go to a Lady Gaga concert. It's she's reaching out to her audience with her art, and that's what we're doing. So that's always made me feel good.
Well, that's great. And what Julann said about laughter being the best medicine is actually provable because when you're happy, whether it's, being in the company of people you love or laughing or whatever it may be, your body releases the feel-good hormones like
Right.
serotonin, and it actually makes your immune system stronger.
Oh, that's good to
So
know.
yeah, it's not just a cliche saying. It's not just an adage. And then when you're not happy, your body's releasing things like adrenaline and cortisol, and that actually lowers your immunity. So how perfect that you were doing these comedy shows for people who were experiencing illness.
The moment I remember vividly was one of my early Cherub shows at Hope Lodge, and I saw a woman. She was bald. She had a cap. She had a mask, surgical mask. This is years before they became fashionable.
Right.
She was carrying around an IV tower. I don't know what they're called. And she was doubled over laughing. And that made me
Oh,
feel so
yeah.
good. So I'm not even saying she was laughing at me. I don't remember who she was laughing at, but she was having a great time. And it made it definitely sold me on the whole concept.
Yeah, it's great. My grandson has special needs and he won a trip to Disney and they were there last week, but a lot of the kids that are going to these things have horrible, horrible situations. Their families are struggling so much, and the joy that these things bring to families like that, you should be so proud because taking time out to do that, even though you're not getting money or doing anything like that, you're making a change. You're changing their lives. Really, you
Oh,
are.
thank you. I hope
So
so.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
And even entertaining in general, if you're working with an audience whose health is fine, you're still helping to raise those
That's right.
the immunity boosting hormones.
That's
True.
right. You're
So
getting the grumpies out.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they when we see a play or a movie or we read a fictional book, um, we actually imagine that we are one of the characters in the play. We tend to relate to one of the characters more, and we're in our alpha brainwave state. So we're really not thinking about the problems that we normally have, so we are in a better place, whether we're sick or not. It just makes us better.
Interesting.
And you mentioned that you raised your children to be good people. I happen to know one of your children. I don't think I ever met Deanna, but they are just lovely people.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, in my list in my head of the nicest people I've ever met, my wife is number one. She's one of the kindest people I've ever known. But my daughter is right there, right there. And she's always had this magical connection with children. She's been a volunteer day camp counselor since she was 13. And I was just, she's up there too, Fran. Trust me, you'll meet her at some point. So
Nice.
Well, that's wonderful. And your wife is Terry, who I happen to know from Brooklyn College. Actually, it's through Terry that I know you
true.
from Brooklyn College. And she too is a performer, or I believe she's still a performer. And so she is doing some of the same work that you're doing.
True, and she's also part of all the work I do. You know, um, my stand-up comedy goes through her first, and my plays go through her first. And she's actually directed a few of my one-act plays as they've gotten staged over the years.
Hmm.
It's been fun.
That's
It's been a
great.
fun. We always perform together. One of my favorite memories is we were acting in a musical review in Staten Island, and my son was in it with us, and my daughter was backstage helping out with costumes and makeup and sweeping up. So it was a. It's not like we left the kids at home with a babysitter. Nope, they got in the car and they got dragged along.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That's great. And you made those audiences happier too. So that was very lovely of you.
yeah. Actually, it was during that time a young woman on the Staten Island ferry came up to me, and you'd think she was meeting a celebrity because she had been to some of the shows at that theater,
That's
and
nice.
she had all kinds of questions, and she was very grateful for the show. So it was nice.
Oh, that's wonderful. And when you're writing a play, what is your process or your inspiration for writing the play?
I love two things, a prompt and a deadline. Because
Hmm.
I'm not Stephen King. I'm not in my basement writing for 8 hours a day. I like totally respect that kind of discipline. But once I have the prompt and the deadline, it gets the creative juices flowing. And my process is, I I hate to say it, lightning striking. Like one of my favorite one act plays that I've written. There's a festival in Staten Island called Scenes from the Staten Island Ferry. And you submit a script, and if they choose it, they stage it. They do everything. They cast it, they direct it. It's a lot of fun. And the prompt a couple of years ago was things are not what they seem. That was the entire prompt. Things are not what they seem. And it went down into my brain's basement. And I dragged out this idea I had almost 30 years ago. I was doing a play called Picasso at the Lapin Agile by Steve Martin. And I was at that theater in Staten Island, and you have audience on three sides. It's one of those spaces. So it's not quite in the round, but you're surrounded on three sides. And I'm on stage as my character Schmendeman one night, and I was about 2 feet from the audience. I mean, they're right there. And in my head, I got the thought, I'm in a cafe in Paris in 1920 or whatever, and that person right next to me is in a theater in Staten Island in 2005. And it's always struck with me how two people can be like right there, but in two entirely different realities, you
That's,
know?
yeah.
Sounds very actory of me, I will admit.
No, it's true.
But when that prompt came to me, things are not what they seem. That idea came swooping out of my brain's basement. And I put two men on the ferry where one of them was on his way to work and the other one was suddenly sitting in a theater wondering why he's in a theater on a fake ferry with 200 people looking at him. And it turned out to be one of the best pieces I've ever written, number one. But more importantly, they actually accepted this one, staged it, and it was a hit. I mean, it was like I sat in, they performed it 6 or 7 times. I think I saw three of them. And the waves of laughter that would come, like, were always, you ever been standing at the beach and you think a wave is coming and then it smacks you in the face because it's way bigger than you think it's going to be? That's what it felt like. I was like, okay, I like this play, but these people are loving this play. So I don't know. So that was a process. That was a play. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah.
It does. That's
Okay.
great.
Yeah. The play
And
that I'm staging now
okay.
uh, is about an 83-year-old me going back in time to meet a 22-year-old me and to put him on the right track. It's like, okay, here's where you went wrong, but I know how to fix it. And this is a play that I've mulled around for 20 years. So it's good to see it on stage. By mulled around, I mean I've written different versions of it, and I rewrote it for this. I submitted to that same festival. They did not accept it, but the chain theater did accept it, you know, which is ironic because they get a lot more submissions at the chain theater. But it's good. I say this about my stand-up, and I say it about my plays. I got to start writing more fiction, not taking my own experiences. Like things shouldn't have to happen to me for me to have a good joke, you know. That's one thing I'm working on.
Yeah, but that's great because you can see the humor in the things that happen. So that's a gift too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
A lot of people are upset about the things that happen, but you can turn it into something that brings joy.
Well, thank you. I hope so. So
That's great. That's a great attitude to have. That means that you're a healthier person too.
Yeah.
it's good to know.
Yeah. Every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. So do you have so you're doing this play now, and how much longer is it running?
Only two more performances. The sad thing about the Chain Theater Winter Festival is you only get three performances over the course of about a month. So, and it's always scary for the director because that means my actors have to remember their lines with 11-day breaks between the performances.
Oh,
Wow.
So, and but it's a what I will say about the chain is they're the most supportive theater I've ever worked at. They just whatever as long as you're prepared, they're there for you. They'll help you any way they can.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That
Yeah.
is, that's great.
That's great. Um, and so the chain theater, and so two more. So is one of the performances today?
No, but we got Wednesday and Saturday.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
Wednesday at 6:30, which is a weird time. But I love it because people I know through work will be able to attend. It's, close to the workday. It's not like
Right,
8 o'clock on a Wednesday. It's 6:30. So go out, get a bite, and you're still done by 7:30. So
right.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, and let's see. How would you like to, do you see yourself continuing writing?
yes, actually very much so. I'm trying to write more and push myself more. Like I said, I need the prompt and the deadline. I'd like to get rid of at least one of those things. Just sit
Right.
down and
Stop.
start creating. So there's a couple of exercises I'm doing, trying to spur that into a habit.
Oh, that's great. And do you usually get the prompt from the theater?
Yes, like I said, for these fairy plays, I write one a year. They always provide a prompt. The prompt this year was time. And that's what led me to write this time travel piece that they rejected, but I still wrote it, and the Chain Theater accepted it. So um, I'm grateful. But yeah, so the prompt was simply time. Um, so
Cool.
it's nice to have a prompt and a deadline, but I want to start. Let's create some stuff from thin air. Let's just
Right.
sit down
Well,
and
prompt yourself,
exactly,
you
exactly.
know, think of
Yeah,
something, do the same thing, or have your wife do it.
exactly. So,
It's so nice what you do.
Absolutely. Definitely making the world a better place. And thank you for
Yes,
doing it.
really.
oh, you're very welcome. And it's also a good way to meet people and meet a diverse. I have a very diverse set of friends. Diversity in age, diversity in race, diversity in religions, all the above. Because theater does bring that. Theater and improv
Yeah.
certainly bring that.
And you mentioned earlier that you might try and get that improv group back together.
Yes, yeah. Um, we tried in 2022. A partner and I tried to get it going again, and boy, did it not fly. It's
Mm,
the pandemic really changed society in a lot of ways, and one of those ways, and it's not just improv, is leaving the house. Leaving the house is it's a much tougher sell now. Every art form is experiencing it. Movie theaters, regular theaters, improv
Right.
theaters, the stand-up comedy world has really been disrupted where stand-up comedy was, you'd earn your way into a comedy club and be part of their roster and their rotation of professional comedians. Now a lot of these comedy clubs are just taking anybody, as long as you can
mm,
bring 5 people, bring 8 people, they'll throw anybody on stage. So a lot of the professional comedians before the pandemic, I don't mean to speak out of turn, but they're not able to make the same living they were able to before the pandemic. They can't command the same pay. And it's a sad thing. These are professional artists that worked very hard to get to where they were and had it ripped away by circumstances.
yeah. Well,
So,
perhaps if after some more time has passed, it will return to the old standard of the better performers getting on the stage than just anybody.
and I think that's inevitable. It's just survival of the fittest, evolution. It's that is the laws of nature. So I expect you are correct.
Who are your favorite comedians?
So
What happened?
I grew up listening to comedy albums in my parents' collection from Bob Newhart, who, thank God, he lived to be almost 100 and he kept his
Mm,
reputation intact because the rest of the records in that collection didn't hold up so well. Woody Allen being one of those records and Bill Cosby being the other in those records. But what I really liked about the old Bill Cosby and more modern comedians like John Mulaney is the storytelling style of comedy. My comedy is very story-ish, which is risky because if you're boring, like stand-up comic has to get laughs every so often. You can't go too long without getting some laughs. So your stories better have punchlines every so often. But John Mulaney's a big one I like right now. Sebastian Maniscalco also has a similar, talking about
Yeah.
family and stories about his real life. So those are two of the current comedians I like. I just watched a Sarah Silverman special. I like Sarah Silverman a lot. She's not new or cutting edge, but she's a terrific comedian, and I like what she has to say.
Yeah,
She's able to present her ideas without condescension, and to me, without alienating people.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And to be a woman in comedy can be kind of tough, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a club in Manhattan that's being exposed now for blatant sexual harassment
Oh,
of some
wow.
kind. And I don't know enough about it. I'm not going to name any names. I was talking to some comedians the other night, and they said there's one club in Manhattan that's been caught sexually harassing the female comics. And I'm just like, God damn it, when does it end?
Right.
Yeah.
When do people learn their lesson? If you can take down the biggest comedian in the industry in Louis C.K., how are any of us going to get away with that abhorrent behavior, by the way?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
not only the evil of it, it's just blatant stupidity of it that I'm just like, come
Right.
on, guys.
especially in this day and age when nothing you do is not recorded. You
Oh,
know,
absolutely. I
yeah,
know.
everybody
Hmm.
has a phone, everybody has a security camera, everybody has, it's just there's no way that you're going to get away with it. So why not? It's a
Behave
terrible,
yourself.
right. It's a terrible reason to behave yourself, but why not just be a nice person and have that recorded instead, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another thing the pandemic did, I think. It made people more selfish, more, um, I don't know what it is, but the way they drive, the way they conduct themselves, it's very single-minded. There's
Where are
no,
you located, Julann?
I'm in Rockland County. I'm
Okay.
from Brooklyn. So are you
Yeah.
in Staten Island?
I'm in Staten Island, and yes, the
Nice.
way people drive has gotten
It's crazy.
terrible. A light
Yeah.
turns green now. I do not touch that gas pedal. I count
Nope.
one, two, three, and there's always, I'm talking always,
Yeah.
somebody shooting through from half a block down. It's not like they're just creeping through the yellow light.
No.
They were half a block
Berserk.
away. Light turns solid red, and they don't even slow down. It's
Even when they
remarkable.
have their turning signal on and you think they're going to turn, I still pause because sometimes they just drive around with the signals on. But we just got back from vacation and my daughter, my granddaughter, and I, and you could have tubes and sand toys, and of course we never bring them because we're right at the max of our weight and luggage,
Mhm.
so we have to pay $5 million for them when we go to the place that we were. We were in Jamaica. So the last day we were leaving, and we took the tube and the bucket of sand toys to breakfast to pay it forward, to give it to someone, so they didn't have to spend all that money. And we were walking down the hall, and my granddaughter had them, and she sees these little kids, and she said, "Would you like this tube and sand toys? So you could play." And they were from New York as well, and they were like, "Oh my God!" Like you would think what we did. We really
Yeah.
didn't do anything, but just tiny little things that you can do. Like let someone merge when you're driving, or share your toys so you don't have to. I don't know. I don't know. God help us. That's why we need comedy.
Well, you did remind me of one of my favorite comedians, Stephen Wright,
Oh,
from
yes.
when I was much
Oh yeah.
younger. He was driving along, and the person in front of him had their left signal on for a long time, and then he finally figured out they're circling the world to the left.
That's
So,
great.
Even beep if you leave it on to mile. I think if you leave your blinker on, but you don't know what they're going to do. You know what I mean? That's the scary part. At any time, they're going to move right, probably with their left blinker on, but crazy. I've seen people are in the right lane to make a right turn. I've seen people come from behind, go around them and make the turn. Or
mhm.
you're letting someone cross, and then some lunatic comes around and hits the person because they have no patience.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
we
the
need
aggressive
comedy
driving.
on the radio. Maybe that's what you should do. Maybe we'll get make them laugh and maybe they won't be so rude.
Possibly. So.
But we can always have hope that, that is getting further and further in the past. And the people
Yes.
who are being more selfish now are going to realize it doesn't work.
Well, I actually do some comedy about self-driving cars. Maybe the cure for road rage will be the self-driving cars. But the problem with that is then they'll realize they don't need humans anymore and just dump us all off a bridge. So that might not be the answer, you know.
Yeah, that's
And there
scary
you
too.
go.
So
Well, if you had a wish for people, the way people would behave, Mike, what would your wish be if that came true? How would people be?
I have to say it just goes down to the golden rule, treat other people the way you want to be treated. I mean, it's the number one violation, in our new America where people think nothing of disparaging, you know, people because of their race, their immigration status, their sexual orientation. It's just so out there, I'm
Yeah.
like, come on. I also don't understand how these these individuals like my family is filled with my family. And I'm not saying my neighborhood, my family has immigrants in it, gay people in it, transgender people in it. These are family members. So how can take this hatred and make it an active part of who I am?
Right.
And these people must have similar families. My family is not unique. It's not like where this strange family has all these things in it. Everyone does.
Right.
So I don't understand how these negative this hatred can permeate so rapidly and vividly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, back to selfish. It's all about you and what your views are and what your thoughts are, and you don't care what anybody thinks or does. This is the way you think it should be, and selfish, thoughtless.
It is. Jewel, do you have any more questions for Mike?
No, I don't think so. I think that you asked, what he thinks we could do to make the world a better place, and it doesn't have to be any grand gesture. Like you said, just treat people the way you want to be treated.
That makes sense. It
Yeah,
makes so much
no, it
sense to
does.
do that. I mean, it's not like it's a weird thing to ask.
Right.
Yeah,
So hopefully,
I don't know how we got this far, but you know, let's not get into conspiracy theories and stuff. But you know, the common denominator seems to be social media. Social media apparently has not made society better at all, and
yeah.
it it's pretty diabolical to think that it was done intentionally. You know, so
Yeah. Yeah. That would be very unfortunate if that's it. Well, it's very unfortunate that it's the case. But what if
yeah,
somebody did it on purpose? That makes it worse. But who knows?
I don't think it was done on purpose. I think it just followed the money. It's all about
Yeah.
advertising. So how to
Yeah.
get more people engaged, get them. You got to get them to respond emotionally, and emotion isn't always positive. So
Right.
Yeah. Which, what does that say about our society?
yeah.
Yeah.
There we go back to the beginning. Maybe that's what we need to do. Go back to basics. My granddaughter met a friend when we were in Jamaica, and I said, "Oh, you guys could be pen pals. You can write a letter, and and she said, "What, Grandma?" She's 8. What? I said, "Pen." She goes, "Why can't we just FaceTime?" I said, "Because it's pretty cool to know that you're going to get a letter back in the mail to open it and read it." So I'm going to send one to her first and see how it goes.
Yes, yes, you like
Oh,
Start
it.
something new. Start
Yeah.
something old.
that's so cute. That's a great idea. I used to love having pen pals. There was this thing when I was like a probably not yet a teenager, where sometimes you'd receive a letter in the mail from somebody you didn't know because they'd done a chain letter and it was
Chain
actually
letter.
on a letter. And usually I would choose somebody from the list and I would start a pen pal thing with them. And it would last for a while and I'd learn about their life and I'd tell them about my life. And it's just so exciting. When you're a little kid, or at least when we were little kids, it was exciting to get mail addressed to you,
Oh, absolutely.
you know?
And the schools did that too. Like my husband's a retired fireman, and I remember, for so long, the kids in the class would write letters to say thank you for your service, or same thing with soldiers. You know what I mean? In the military, you'd write something. I think that's nice to get a thank you card or whatever in the mail. Just thanks for making us laugh. There you
Yeah.
go.
There you go. So
All right. Well, I think we have reached a natural ending here. So thank you both for being here. And thank you especially to Mike for being our guest.
Thank
No,
you,
thank
Mike.
you for having me.
And this has been another episode of A Better World with Julann and Fran with our guest Mike Veasey. And please like and share this video and please join us again, won't you? Thank
And be
you.
kind.
And be kind. There you go.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Take